Saturday night live lacrosse in Towson, Maryland. It's the 18th ranked Towson Tigers taking on CAA foe William & Mary in our CAA Game of the Week on Lax Sports Network. Hello, everybody, and alongside three-time gold medalist Kelly Berger, I am Tom Eschen. And Kelly, they say, we've been waiting all day for Saturday night. It feels like, the players have been, but we've been waiting for this game, too. It should be a pretty good battle today, maybe a little bit closer than people think. William & Mary battled in the second half against Elon, thought that was closer than the score last week. And Towson, as we know, they're opening up CAA play today.
Yeah, Saturday's showdown, CAA. You can only imagine how these players are feeling, and they're probably amped up. No matter what they've done in the past this season, they are ready to play. So I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, I was getting antsy right after about noon today. I was like, let's get this thing going. We got some lacrosse to play. Let's start with the Tribe heading on the road to Tiger Stadium, and you look at Belle Materi, and she didn't score last weekend, and that was for the first time since they played Duke that she was held off the score sheet. What does she need to do? What do they need to do to get her going to gigs, Kelly?
I'm looking forward to seeing her bounce back. I think she's really a player that puts in the work, and I'm sure this bothered her. It was something that was probably uncomfortable for her every single day she went back out on the field. So I know that she did work. I'm excited to see her come out and carry this team. I know they don't want to have her carry the team, but that's her role, and I'm excited to see what she does.
Yeah, I think as she goes, the rest of that offense goes as well. But they're going up against a top 10 nationally ranked defense in the Towson Tigers. Sammy Chenoweth, the caused turnover artist. She leads the CAA all-time 171 caused turnovers. And plus, their top matchup defender in Aaron Williams. That's a tough task for this Tribe offense, but the Towson defense, as we know, year after year, so solid.
They look strong, they look fierce, they look physical, and we don't see a man-to-man defense that often anymore in women's lacrosse, so I'm excited to see it.
They're getting set there on the field, and we'll get you set in a moment. Opening draw control coming your way after the break. A wonderful national anthem just wrapping up at Tiger Field. The Towson Tigers at 7-2 overall this season, taking on a William & Mary team at 3-5. And we should note before we get into this one that, yes, this is under the CAA umbrella, but due to the divisions this year, the North and the South, William & Mary in the South and Towson in the North, this actually won't count towards the team's sort of final CAA record. It's a non-conference conference game, if you will, Kelly. But we talked about the coaches, Colleen Dawson, taking a look at her, and they are treating it as such, though, as a CAA game, of course.
Yeah, she talked about how important this game was. No matter what, any game is always important, but especially, I think, just CAA vibe. It gives you a little bit of oomph within the team morale, and just being able to say, yes, we did this. It's against a good Towson team. I'm sure Colleen takes a win no matter what. She doesn't care what team it is.
Absolutely, and you're taking a look here at the Tribe sideline, making her second start of the season today in the cage. Devin Fleischman, the senior from Trapp, Pennsylvania. She started against Elon, and they stuck with her after Elsa Rahl had started for most of the season, but they had at times gone sort of the hot hand, if you will, and Fleischman had come in a couple games, now making her second start here today on that side of the things. Here, the Tigers on their side of the things, it's a freshman, Lindsay Posner, getting the start in goal. She also started against George Mason, but this is also her second start of the season. So, Kelly, I know you're an offensive mind. What does that do for these offenses, knowing there might be not as much experience in the cage as normal?
I would encourage the offensive players to not think too hard about it. Maybe don't see a number on the chest, but just see a goalie and shoot around them. And I'm sure that they've talked about this for over and over again, but sometimes it's way easier said than done. But I'm excited to see Posner in there and see what she does. And we're being told she's super coachable and she's enjoying the opportunity.
And Belle Materi, like we mentioned just a few moments ago, coming into today with 38 points, did not get on the score sheet last time out. They want to get her going early, and that's what they have stressed. If they get Belle going early, that could be the key to success today.
Yeah, I think that's something that she puts pressure on herself too. She feels like if she gets involved with the game early on, then she feels that rhythm, like most players. But what I would encourage her to not get down in case she doesn't get involved early. It's a long game, and she'll be okay.
And we saw Devin Fleischman last week, Kelly, and it seemed like she grew into it as the time went on. And she had some bumps in the road, but as Elon mentioned, they had a very solid second half at that against Elon, as I mentioned, and it was 6-5 in the second half. And if the final score 15-6 might not have indicated how close that game was. So the players are set in the circle. We are off and running. The first whistle of the day, the draw control goes the Tribe's way. So it's William and Mary getting their set offense in for the first time today. Here in Tiger Field in Towson, Maryland. We'll look and see our first look at the Towson defense, a man-to-man approach as opposed to what William and Mary saw last week, a zone.
Yeah, this is a different look. Maybe just in women's lacrosse in general, we see a lot of zone these days. I'm excited to watch them play just good old-fashioned man-to-man help defense.
A 90-second possession clock here in women's lacrosse, and William and Mary using much of that here to start. Grace Hoden looking into the middle. That pass just off the stick and into the netting, the cage of Lindsay Podzer. So first possession, not real shot there for the Tribe. Instead, we'll see Towson getting it back their way in transition, which is where they thrive.
Yeah, Sonia talked about how much speed they have. They're super deep in speed, quickness, and I would imagine that they're going to utilize that throughout this game.
So we were expecting Devin Fleischman. It's instead Elsa Rahl in there today. So throwing a couple curveballs already so far here today. So it is Elsa Rahl who is there in cage right now. We'll see if it changes as we go. It might be an equipment issue off the bat. So I guess that's what we're all dealing with, including this Towson offense.
In Colleen fashion, I would not put it by her to just trick us a little bit here and there.
The ball continued to bounce here behind the cage. A key ground ball early on there. That one jarred loose from Caroline Donovan. She gets it right back. So the Tribe will also get possession back, and no shot that time for the Towson Tigers. Our look at this William and Mary offense once again. And we had mentioned, of course, Belle Materi so often. And the matchup you're going to want to watch on this side of the field is Materi against Erin Williams. We talked about Sammy Chenoweth. She'll play right around the crease more often. And instead, Williams, who is their top matchup defender, will be the one this time guarding Materi. That's the matchup you're going to watch here today. There it is. Tough look there over to the middle. Unable to get to that was Kazi, the freshman out of Westport, Connecticut. But possession stays here with William and Mary.
Something to watch here on the offense. You want to make sure you aren't forcing the ball to her, but it's not a bad thing to give it to her because she knows what to do with it when she gets it.
Well, it didn't take Belle Materi long after not getting on the score sheet last week. There she is this week, getting the first goal of the day. A great start there for William and Mary. And going up against a different defense, the top 10 in the country for Materi, that has got to be a relief, especially for this team too.
I imagine she took a breath of fresh air after this trickled in over that goalie's head, but you can just see there the smile on her face. She's just saying, okay, I'm involved, I feel good, now let's play.
Her 30th goal of the season, 39 points. She took 3 shots last week. She had a turnover. She also had 3 draw controls, so did what she could. She's had some big games this year, 8 goals, 2 assists against Old Dominion, 7 goals against Campbell as well, preseason All-CAA player. And if they can get her going, this could be a battle here today, and we're looking forward to that. Once again, William and Mary winning another draw control, something they did very well despite the loss to Elon last week.
Yeah, they stressed they want all 7 involved in the offense, and I don't blame them whatsoever. You're going to have a lead attacker or even a midfielder that kind of runs the show a little bit, but all of them being a threat is something that I'm sure this Tribe offense wants to get back to.
And Colleen Dawson even had told us maybe they would relish, as you see a nice save there by Lindsay Posner right on the doorstep, relish maybe going on the road and changing up their schedule a little bit just to help maybe there's some of their first half woes they've had this season. They played well in second half, but she said we've done the same thing for like 3 weeks in a row here at home. Maybe getting on the road is a good thing. You don't often hear coaches say that.
Yeah, she said it felt like Groundhog Day over and over again. I felt her pain a little bit, So change up is definitely good for anybody.
Here's Carrie Thornton. That jarred loose, and we'll have a whistle, and it looks like we'll have our first free position of the day here inside the critical scoring area. Thornton drawing the foul. Carrie, the younger sister of Caitlin Thornton, coming into the day with 10 points, 8 goals, 2 assists. And a goal and assist last time out against George Mason. Winds and fires there. That's wide of the cage. They have the backup. Nice pass there in front, but just missing it in front was Thornton. She had a good look.
Great look. Took an extra second there. She might have put it away, but it's okay. Her teammates backed her up.
Out of the cage comes Rahl. She's still out of the cage. The ball bounces out and to the way of William and Mary here. Nice ground ball pickup by Ann Milwitz. So a couple of opportunities there, though, for Towson, and you can imagine if they convert those, even on that pass, that was a good sign for things to come. They just are unable to execute.
Yeah, the quickness they move the ball, the way they're able to turn those defenders' heads over and over again definitely can exhaust a defense quickly. They just have to wear them down.
Things getting a little physical here in the middle of the field as that possession goes the way of the Towson Tigers, and you're going to see them play a little more physical, and William & Mary's going to have to be up to that task today. 1-0, 5 minutes in. Here's Deltuva into the middle. The pass by Luigi, unable to handle that. Raul comes out of the cage. She's been a little aggressive here so far. You might think that she's sort of relishing this opportunity to be in there today.
Hey, why wouldn't you, right? I mean, you got the chance. Give it all you got.
Raul, a senior captain. A good look. Here's Schrader. He gets it back out, and William & Mary will settle some things down. You saw Montieri up against Aaron Williams and score the first time out. That's going to be the battle that wages throughout the day. Williams this season has had some tough matchups. She did hold Taryn O'Miller, Stony Brook, to just 1 assist, so she's up to the task. And sometimes they say depends on who the matchups are and who the other player is, but Chenoweth will also take on the team's best player depending on the type she is. Chenoweth 18 in white. That one jarred loose. That time by Luigi. She'll pick it up after the cause turnover and come the other way. Towson in transition is dangerous. They have speed. Here's Natalie Miller, the Maryland transfer, helping in the clearing game, and we have a whistle here off the camera. It's like it's an official's timeout. It'll stay Towson possession here in their end. I thought we saw some good things, Kelly, in their first possession. Just they weren't able to find the back of the net.
Yeah, any game it is, no matter who you're playing, what time of day, what day it is, they're always pre-game jitters, and I imagine that's probably what those are, because I've seen this Towson team put those shots away over and over again. So let's see if they can get in a groove here. Everybody get a touch on the ball. Slow your breath down a little bit and find the back of the net.
Here's the freshman Lindsay Marsha going into the middle, but good help defense there on the inside. I think that was Hertzberg getting her stick in there. Ball coming once again the way of the Tribe. The whistle here on the ground ball. And it looked like we had a timeout in all of that.
Called timeout. Called timeout.
So I couldn't make out. It looked like Towson had possession there, I believe. I think they're going to get the ball. And Sonia LaMonica calling a timeout there for the moment. So we get a little bit of a break in the action here so far. But so far, you've seen really what we've seen out of William & Mary in the second half against Elon. And we had talked to Colleen Dawson about that. I'm like, the second half was fine. You lost the first half 9-1. You come back in the second half, you lose by 1. And she goes, yeah, all the stats were the same. We just have to shoot better and score. And it seems simple, but that sort of seems like that's the formula for them, right?
Yeah, no doubt that I really do believe that William & Mary team gives everything that they have, 100%, and the effort level is no question. So she knows that if they can give all of that effort level and then put some things in the back of the net, do one or two things a little bit better, they'll be okay. And I do believe that. I think this Towson team is almost looking a little surprised at who they are facing right now against William & Mary, and they shouldn't be surprised. And that's probably why that timeout was just called, to kind of shake them up a little bit and say, you guys, look, we need to come out and ready to play. We can't look so surprised that they're ready.
And we should note about Towson, yes, they did play George Mason last weekend, but they had a couple of games canceled over the past few weeks. They played St. Joe's on March 20th. That was a 14-12 win. Then they had their game against Delaware canceled the next week. The next week they had their game canceled against High Point. So Sonia LaMonica, met up with George. They're like, hey, can we just play you? We don't have anybody to play. So they played George Mason again. They won 18-5, after they beat him 18-4 back in February. So, I mean, it's sort of just a different feel, I'd imagine, out there today. It's CAA play. The George Mason might have been felt like a glorified exhibition, just to sort of feel like that because the game came across so quickly for them.
Exactly. And, it was just to get players out there and allow them to play, get your legs under you, let you run a little bit. And they did that for sure. But CAA is a whole new season.
Harry Thornton almost causing a turnover there as the ball was in Kopik's stick. Now they'll try and work it into the zone. Hertzberg this time. She'll work it over now. They'll settle in with Sydney Sloan. Had a nice day last weekend, had a goal, a couple ground balls, and a caused turnover for the sophomore. As other players tried filling that void of scoring left by Belmont Thierry last week. Eight minutes in, still 1-0, William & Mary. Been a slow start for the Tigers. William & Mary's been a little more aggressive so far. Matiri from way out to score. What a pill to the back of the net. It's 2-0. Matiri on the board twice.
You give Belle this room to take that one-on-one and see what she likes, and she'll pick you apart. One hop skip down the alley, gets her hands free, and she can let it go. There's no double being sent there. Green light, go. That was an amazing take, an amazing finish. I'm all for that. I want to see her do it over and over again.
What do you think she was pointing out there, Kelly? Right before you saw with the left hand go up, was she just clearing things out maybe?
Yeah, I think she was telling her players, kindly get out of the way. let me take this opportunity, and they are buying into it, and they are clearing that space for her. And Towson really, in my opinion, should be sending that double team to her, and they aren't respecting her enough right now to do that, and she'll keep doing that until they do.
Keep in mind, this is a Towson team in the top 10. They're 9th in the NCAA. They give up 8.4 goals per game. They held the Loyola team scoreless for 35 minutes when they beat them back on the 24th of February. And Loyola is a team that can score. So this Towson defense, no slouch. And so far, Matiri is having her way with them.
Yeah, no doubt they have the ability to stop her. The question is just when will they, and who will win that battle. So let's stay tuned.
We've talked a lot about the Towson defense. On offense, you do have to take a look here at Blair Paris, the sophomore from Pikesville, Maryland. Went to McDonough. She does lead the team in goals and points, 29 goals, 32 points. That's who the offense is going to flow from. And a freshman as well, Lindsay Marshall, 23 in white, another dynamic player for this Towson offense, who so far, almost through 10 minutes here, has been held off the scoreboard. The whistle there on the ground ball. It'll reset here with Towson. Maybe too quick of a restart there, and the officials set things up, and now they'll go have a conversation as well. We saw a couple good looks for Towson earlier, Kelly, but there's been times where this William & Mary defense has sort of been a little bit congested in that middle for the offense to really work in and cause some turnovers here, which Towson doesn't really do.
Yeah, it feels like Towson is just not connecting with one another. They're playing not necessarily individual, but they are not connecting on passes. They're not making it easy on one another. So I would look to try and spread it out a little bit, make some room for each other, get some easy passes in there, and just start to feel the connection first.
And their strength is not necessarily this. They have a good offense, but it is in transition, which they really haven't had a chance to come out and run it all so far.
Yeah, their speed is pretty impressive. So I would hope that they press forward on that. It could benefit them, give William & Mary a different look and see what they can roll with, change it up.
All right, so the officials discuss things, and now we'll get set and ready to go. Little Saturday night lacrosse here in the CAA. 2-0 William & Mary on top first. This is Marshall, the freshman, finds some space in the middle. Another save there in the middle. Restarting is Perry, and she scores. Towson on the board, 2-1.
Blair is such a dominant one-on-one player. She uses her body so well. She never gives in. She shifts her body around the defender to get her hands free. You see this here. She does this little tuck under, protects her stick well, and finds the back of the net. And quite honestly, first goal of the game, sometimes you just need that to give you a little bit of a exhale and being able to say, okay, let's go. We've got the monkey off our back, and now it's time to play.
See her turn the corner there. That was impressive because you could tell she knew she had the step and was able to use that speed to blow by the defense. See there?
Yeah, that little lean in. That little lean in that she does, she kind of feels the defender and then plays off of it. It's really impressive, and it's hard to teach someone to do that. They just kind of learn that themselves.
She's scored at least 2 goals in every game of this season. She scored 4 goals last time out against George Mason. Lindsay Marshall taking the draw. Now Towson looking to get some momentum. They trail 2-1 here in the first half. All right, wide open there in the middle of Stack. Takes it. Now goes a little wide, though, of the pipe. Towson's had some good looks on the inside. They just haven't been able to cash in so far here. Here's Stack looking in the middle. Better job that time by the Tribe. Another look there. Perry unable to handle that one. Back comes the Tribe the other way. Nice catch there in transition. Nicely done by Kopech. And Tribe have numbers here, unsettled, right there in front, and another save in front by Posner. Shot by Cipolla, but Posner there got a stick in the way.
Yeah, two big plays from the goalies on both ends, 2 big stops right on their doorstep. They didn't back down and made the big stop that you probably wouldn't expect.
Harley Merlot, the usual starter for Towson. She didn't start last game, though she is top 10 nationally in goals against average and save percentage, though. Sonia LaMonica for the 2nd straight game going with Lindsay Posner in between the pipes. But she's been outstanding in practice. She's made some nice saves, and she's earned a spot here. Merlot and inside lacrosse mid-season All-American. A couple of those on this Towson squad. Sammy Chenoweth also named to that list. Altuve this time providing the defense on Schrader.
So it looks like they're face guarding Bell down low, and maybe a little change up, maybe recognizing that we need to keep the ball out of her stick. And maybe not face guarding, but very close defense on her right now, off ball.
William & Mary, they say they want to be 7 on the field, 7 threats on offense. And this is really an opportunity. And they had that opportunity last week against Elon, too, and we saw a couple players step up. Stephanie Schrader had a goal. Grace Ahonen had her first 2 goals of the year. That one taken, though, right away on the other end. Nice job from behind by Carrie Liucci. Physical play there, and that whistle coming from the other side of the field as it looked like Marshall was trying to make the catch, and Audrey Hogue called for the infraction.
That one hurts. You get in the side there, right when you're going up for the pass. That one stings the hip.
Oh, like physically, you mean, right?
Yes, physically.
You think there'll be a bruise there tomorrow?
For sure. You get up out of bed the next morning, you're what is that? Oh, that was that one time I got hit.
it's hard to, I mean, we're in the month of April, almost midway through, and there's, I mean, at this point, the bruises are starting to add up in the season.
For sure.
Nice dodge from behind the cage, that time by Thornton, but thwarted once again by Rahl. Whistle, quick restart here. No hesitation at all. That one, though, taken away by Marshall.
Tuck your sticks, William and Mary. Tuck your sticks.
I'm sure Colleen Dawson saying the same thing on the sidelines. And it appears that, yes, the horn has blown, and we've got another timeout. This time, the Towson Tigers take it once again, so they'll settle in the offensive end. But almost 15 minutes into the books, William and Mary on top on the road, 2-1. They lead the Tigers right here on Lax Sports Network. Welcome back here to Tiger Field, a look at Colleen Dawson in her second season with her assistant Jenny Simpson. Dawson, a part of a national title team at Maryland back in 2010. A couple of Maryland alums on the sideline. Sonia LaMonica in the early 2000s, captain. Helped win a couple championships herself there in Maryland, which you say quite often. But Dawson, who we had talked to her a couple weeks ago now and had mentioned, last year she only got, as a new coach, just a few games. And this is just the second CAA game she's ever coached in, despite the fact this is her second season.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple chances to talk to her, and I didn't know her necessarily as a player, but as a coach, she is a cool coach. She says all the right things, does exactly what you want as a player. She's a player's coach, and she is so supportive of everything that her kids are going through, and just understands them and kind of like takes the life part of lacrosse and puts it in there and just allows her team to live their life too.
Sliwak immediately coming in with a dodge, but once again thwarted by Elsa Rahl. So Rahl getting sort of a spot start here. Seemed like a last moment thing, and she has gotten the job done. I mean, she's done really well so far and made 3 saves on the day.
Yeah, she's playing really well and she's making the hard saves.
Last year, she finished ranked 5th in school history in career saves, continues to climb up that list. Had a D twig there in the middle of the field briefly. Now that ball is on the ground, on the turf once again, but picked up by William and Mary. They'll get possession coming back the other way. Oh, good stick there, up by Marshall. Talk about her as a freshman. She called there for the foul. She's an aggressive one at that. I mean, she really, as a freshman walking in, she'll get the yellow. You can tell she's got the physicality down of this college game. So it'll be a 2-minute man-up situation for William and Mary. Go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, she doesn't play like a freshman, and I mean that in the nicest way. She has a lot of confidence on field. She doesn't give up here. This was unfortunate, and you got to keep it safe, but she just goes hard, and again, something that you can't teach.
So it's a 2-minute situation, a releasable penalty. The yellow card here, the first of the day for Towson. We'll see our first look at the man-up offense for William and Mary. They'll try to make this a 2-goal game. So things change a little bit defensively when you're a man down, of course.
Yeah, you'll see them in a zone, a modified zone, we can call it, because they are man down. A lot of shifting and chatter from the defense.
There is a shooting space drawn by Matiri, and she'll get her spot here on the free position on the 8-meter mark.
She knows this position well.
This is where she feasts. One of the best in the nation at finishing these situations, as are William and Mary. They're 8th in the nation in free position shooting. 55.6%. Matiri scores. She's got a hat trick, a natural one at that, in the first half for the Tribe.
Well, she said she wanted to be involved early, and it looks like she's doing just that. She is so good with her stick. You can tell by the way she's holding it in front of her face to protect it from those other fellow Towson players. She's protecting it from the check, but she's also, you have no idea where she's going to finish, and it's just a snap of the wrist. She can go high, she can go low. She does it really well.
And something William & Mary worked on this week was shooting and the pace and how hard they were shooting. You saw that, and a couple of the goals so far here on their side of things to make it 3-1 has been a little bit harder shots. And maybe that for them is a key to success.
Yeah, their coaching staff explained to us that they just said to them, you guys shoot harder. And they said, oh, okay. And I wish it was as simple as that, but I don't think they were thinking that. And just small tweaks like that can make a big difference.
Ensuing draw control now. William & Mary a 3-1 advantage. Parry picks it up along the circle, and she'll come the other way. This is Towson in transition. Works her way right into the middle, right to the rack, and scores her second today. It's a battle between Matiri and Parry.
Here is the transition offense that Sonia has talked about over and over again. We see the quickness, the shiftiness, and then the solid finish. And again, they have the ability to do it, and I'm sure their coaching staff just wants them to do it over and over again. Again, easier said than done, but that will definitely bring you good, pretty goals, just like that.
Weaving her way through a whole bunch of green shirts. Parry, the sophomore, went to McDonough, as I mentioned. Part of that McDonough school system that had 198 straight wins. She was 85-1 in her 4 years there.
She knows how to win. She knows how to win.
There's something to be said for that. Of course, now helmed by the great Taylor Cummings at McDonough.
Another Terp.
They run rampant around these parts.
They do.
So 3-2 now. 3 goals for Matiri, 2 goals for Parry. This one won by the freshman Marshall. And you'll see they've been aggressive here now coming off the draw control win. Hand goes up from the official, and a shooting space coming out of that. Looks like it's going to come on the arc. 3 seconds, excuse me. You can see the official with her 3 fingers up, saying as such. Here's Stack. 7 goals, 5 assists this season. A preseason All-CAA player, West Hill High School, Syracuse, New York. Takes a quick shot. It goes wide, right back there to Lynch. Halfway through, 3-2. Lynch looking through the middle. That ball makes its way through the middle and over towards the restraining line. Quick restart here. Parry now gets it out. Now they'll settle down here for Towson. But like we saw there, Kelly, the transition offense, if William & Mary, that has to be their focus to stop because they've been better here in the set situations, on defense at least.
Yeah, transition offense is hard to, one, stop, but also communicate in, get organized in, and that's Towson's goal, is to catch you off guard, get the defense on their heels, and they were able to do that there. I don't see why they shouldn't do that every single time, and I'm sure that's what they're all saying to each other, but they're also doing a lot more running than I'm doing sitting here watching. So
I'm actually a little surprised at how often we've seen the ball on the ground on this side of the field. Towson, as I alluded to earlier, they have the second fewest turnovers in the game. That's not a turnover, that's a goal. Shelby Stack ties it up 3-3, her 8th of the season for the graduate senior from Syracuse, New York.
Again, it's about making those connections. And early on, we saw Towson doing this, but they were not connecting. And here you can see the connection. It's nice and simple and a good finish. And she throws her stick like, I know I can do that. Why aren't we not continuing to do this? So if we see those connections happen over and over again, that's going to be good news for Towson.
Nice dish there by Molly Lynch, her 8th assist of the year. Big draw control here in the first half. William & Mary jumped out to an early lead. Towson's gotten the last 2 now to tie things up. Parry and Stack now here in the middle will battle it away for the draw control. Marshall and Schrader.
Yeah, Sonia talked a lot about how Marshall controls that draw control. She's able to really kind of pick where she wants to put it, and we've seen that over and over again, and that is huge to have on your team.
Yeah, it's coming in as a freshman, as we alluded to, and doing that, and also scoring on top of that. 21 goals this season. She's second on the team. And that's all over the field. Losing it and getting it back was Paris after a spin move. Spun herself right out of the ball, but somehow able to go and get the ground ball after all of that.
She does not give up. She does not stop. She continues to just work hard all over the field and doesn't let just one thing stop her. It's going to take a lot.
It seems like Towson's gotten a little more feisty in the last couple minutes here and starting to, you know, see those 50-50 balls go their way just a little bit more than they were at the beginning of the game. See the ball in their offensive zone more, too.
Yeah, sometimes we talk about the, you know, away team having a long day of travel, but sometimes it's just as hard as the home team. You're at home, you're sitting around, you're waiting. I mean, you and I felt that, right? We weren't even playing.
Right.
So, you get a little antsy, and then it comes game time, and your body has already reached that peak. So maybe that was it a little bit. They had to shake it out a little bit, take a few minutes, and now they're ready to go. So let's see what they do.
Stacked there, a cause turnover. After on the other end, that was Courtney Vasquenza, who initially got the ball back. So Stacked getting it right back, and we have, as we mentioned, the rotating goalies. It seems like a merry-go-round. Carly Merlot now in there for Towson, the IL midseason All-American. So she is now in for the Tigers. Change there made by Sonia LaMonica with close battle so far, probably knowing every save will matter. Just getting that sophomore in there could make the difference, as opposed to the freshman in Posner. Tough catch defense there played by Star Howard, and she'll get called with a whistle, and we'll get a free position out of the deal. Opportunity for Towson to take the lead. It is Marshall. Marshall works her way in. That one deflected and out of the crease. Nice save once again by Rahl. She's played great.
She has played great, and that is a harder save than it looks because Marshall gave a great high fake to then put it low, and she stood her ground. She held her position, and she made the save, and that was phenomenal.
Her fourth save of the day, came back for an extra year, along with some of the other graduate seniors, if you will, fifth-year seniors on this team. Star Howard drawing a whistle there in the middle of the field. They'll reset and restart. They're actually going to honor the graduating class, the four-year seniors, at halftime here today. From last season, obviously their final season was cut short. But they made all of those extra seniors, their extra year seniors, captains this year for William & Mary. You have another whistle here on the outside. And that's going to go, it appears, against the Tribe.
Yeah, it must have been an off-ball call, maybe due to face guarding. Maybe there was a push-off. I didn't quite see, but it definitely looked like an offensive foul.
So instead, it'll be Towson possession. All tied up 3-3. Another great save by Rahl in that last free position goal. She stood tall. Looks like she might be tested again here as Towson struggles a bit. They are one of the best clearing teams in the NCAA. 92% of the time. That's fifth in the nation. They have successful clears. So usually not too many issues with that.
Yeah, their speed is utilized throughout that transition. And when you have speed, you know, they say it's best game on 2 feet. And so they utilize that.
There's Sleewack dodging from the alley. Now thwarted. She comes back out. Guarded by Hogue. She'll work it back now behind the cage. Work it back around. 10 minutes to play in the first half. Good first 20. A 3-3 game. Fun battle between top 20 Towson and an upset-minded Tribe team. Whistle there on a tough physical dodge from the top by Paris. You see her trying to turn the corner like she did for one of her earlier goals, and that time The only thing William & Mary could do to stop her was foul her.
Her poor goggles have fallen off quite a few times. But she definitely, takes the hit and keeps going. She doesn't stop until that whistle stops her.
Claudia LaMonica said she knows how to get on the 8-meter and finish. Trying to give her team the lead. Takes the shot and scores. Perry's got a hat trick. Towson has a 4-3 lead, and their first lead of the day comes about 20 minutes in. One more look. We're going to take a break. Blair Perry, a hat trick here today. The sophomore from Pikesville, Maryland, getting the job done. We'll be back after this. A 4-3 lead now for the home team, Towson University, and it seems like they've sort of settled things down. They've gotten the momentum back a bit here, Kelly, over the past few minutes to take this lead.
Yeah, they look a little bit more like themselves. I think they feel like themselves. I think they were growing a little frustrated at first, and they've been able to settle it down, maybe with timeouts that they've had or just being able to chat with each other. They've been able to calm down, settle in a little bit, and I think they kind of feel like themselves, just this is normal for them.
So LaMonica has used 2 timeouts in the first half. Nothing near sort of the end of the half like you might see sometimes. So like you mentioned, I think those timeouts probably came in handy. Blair Perry now with a hat trick on the day. And Towson will retain possession here after winning the draw control. They have the advantage there in the circle. 6-2 so far, an advantage. The Liuchis are in 20-21. One of the sets of twins here on this Towson Tigers team. There are 4 sets of sisters.
That is crazy unique. I mean, that is just really cool. I imagine the atmosphere is really neat to just sit in on.
A competitive one at that. Carrie and Caitlin Thornton. And now you see Carrie and Nicole Liuichi also in. All 4 of those from Ward Melville High School, Stony Brook, New York, Long Island. All on the same team.
Something different in the air up there.
30 on the possession clock. Looking inside that time, Luigi. Comes out, Dota Marshall. Ball squirts loose. And a whistle there inside the critical scoring area. They're going to call a hold. Possession going Towson's way. And who comes out with it? It's Paris. Her and Marshall, they've been all over the field today. Gathering ground balls, shooting, they've been everywhere.
Yeah, they continue to be everywhere. I think that's just their style of play. It's innate in them, and that I love it. I feed off of that.
Perry at a Tewaaraton Award watch list member. Their great start to the year. Gets a good start there and a good finish. Perry's got 4 of the 5. It's 5-3 Towson. 33 goals this season now for Perry.
We continue to talk about how good she is on the 8-meter, and she continues to show that to us. She's able to place that ball exactly where she wants, but more importantly, she gets off the line on the 8-meter so fast. She's able to get ahead of those defenders, and her hands are wide free.
Last year in the shortened season, she led the team with 14 goals in the 6 games she's played. She played as a freshman. And this year, they just say she's taken another step forward. She's grown, sort of understanding concepts now. You probably know that and realize that, Kelly, as a player yourself. It's, at one point, your skill sort of gets enhanced by learning a little bit more about the actual game. You don't just rely on the skill anymore.
Yeah, you just kind of understand differently. You watch film, you work with different coaches, you listen to maybe their opinion on your play, and then you adapt. And she's been able to do that, and it's cool to watch a player develop like that, especially, from us, the fans, but also a coach. I'm sure it's really neat to watch.
Big takeaway there as Towson had won yet another draw control. They've won 7 of the 9, but a great job defensively done by William & Mary. We haven't really seen on offense all that much. So a good job there on that end of the spectrum. And now we get to see William & Mary, who dominated possession the first 10 minutes. The last 12 or so, it's been all Towson. So here we go. Good find there in the middle, and a better finish on the inside. Sydney Sloan. William & Mary makes it a 1-goal game.
Getting someone else involved in the offense was huge right there, whether it was just a confidence boost for the entire attacking team. But, you know, they're taking Bell out of the game right now, so they want to see what else can they do, what other opportunities do they have, and being able to turn and shoot under pressure there, it just feels good, you know. Look how excited they are. They're clapping their hands, they're throwing their sticks. You know, they're ready for this Saturday night showdown.
Sloan's 7th goal of the year, the pass by London Simonides, her 5th assist this season for the sophomore from Great Falls, Virginia. Like you mentioned, Kelly, trying to get other players involved. Materi already with a natural hat trick to start the game. And now she'll come in and take this draw control as they try and fix some issues they've had here in the circle. Marshall's dominated for Towson.
Yeah, I remember face guarding, trying to tell myself, get involved in other ways, you know, get involved between the 30s. And then you're active throughout. So you get touches in different ways, not just down in the 8-meter area, to still feel like you're involved in the game and you're not completely taken out.
Wonderful try there by Courtney Vasquenza to pick the ball up and go the other way. Got to give her credit. She tried to sell it best she could. It did seem like a mutual contact that she could have gone either way. So she goes, all right, well, I'll make the call here.
Exactly. Take it in your own hands.
But Towson does get possession once again. Now 8 of 10 on the circle. 4 draws today for Lindsay Marshall. They knew when she came in through the recruiting process, they haven't had someone like her in a long time here at Towson, and that can dominate on that draw and get possession after possession and go on runs like they're on right now.
Yeah, it just breeds a whole new confidence in the midfield, and just some, you know, uncertainty turns into certainty.
Caitlin Thornton drawing the foul there. Now she'll work her way down behind the cage. 7 minutes to play here in this first half. 5-4 Towson. Good battle so far on both ends. Towson's gotten the momentum back after an early deficit. Marshall working it around to Stack. .30 on the possession clock. Lynch from up top. Oh, good look there on the inside to Thorne. A couple fakes, but Rao comes out of the cage and makes a play. 15 on the clock.
What a save. What a save. That was unbelievable.
A second try, though. That time, Thornton does cash in. 6-4, Towson. You give them enough tries, and they'll come through.
That's tough. That's tough as a goalie. First save was awesome. And both on the offense and the defensive end. Goalie did great, and the attacker took a second and gave a fake and couldn't get around her. But, you know, you see the Towson team back their fellow teammates up, and they don't give in, and they take another shot and put it away.
Absolutely, because, I mean, Thornton, give to her credit, she faked, what, high twice, and Rao was there matching her the whole way to make the first stop. And Thornton just kept on hanging around and was able to finish what she started.
Exactly, just a good battle between the two, and I love to see that.
Thornton, her 11th goal of this season. The senior from Stony Brook, New York. Preseason All-CAA player in 2020, was a CAA All-Rookie Team member in 2018 as well. The older sister of Carrie Thornton, number 15.
Of course.
Have to mention Madison Hobbs and Hannah Hobbs, another set of twins. They're a couple of seniors. And a new set of twins, the Abbotts, also on this Towson roster. They're a freshman. If you recall, if you have watched these Towson Tigers in the past, they actually replaced the Lynches. Molly Lynch is still on the team, but her sister Meg was a defender for the Tigers before graduating. So replacing a set of sisters with a new set. I know I've talked about it like 3 times, but I love it. I think it's amazing.
It's really cool. It is amazing. And even the coaching staff being related, it's just all in the family.
Foul there in the middle. It's going to be a tough catch anyway. Here as Julia Porter had an opportunity. And here she will get an opportunity. For 22 in white. Porter with already a goal and an assist on this season. The junior from Alberta, Canada. Takes a shot right off the bat, and Raul makes a save again. Towson's had opportunities, and Raul's keeping William & Mary in this, for sure.
She is having a phenomenal game. She's making saves that she has no need to make. The defense should be there, and she's coming up with them. And it's not a knock on her. It's just one-on-one with the goalie. The attacker should put it away, and she is coming up with huge saves. And I can't imagine being in her position, so I applaud her.
You were on the other end of the spectrum, Kelly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
We might be talking about that later in terms of some stats all time, because someone broke a record earlier today, and Alyssa Perella, and you are listed as well in that all-time sheet. So some things for people to watch for later on as we get into that, as Hofstra had a big win over JMU today.
I'm retired, Tom. I'm retired.
Which makes it even more impressive that you're still up there. I mean, come on. 2-goal game. Here's Luigi. Works back, goes to her sister. This is Carey inside. 5 green shirts are there. They come out with it, but a whistle. And they'll move things around for referee position. So Carey Luigi, and she was in the midst of things like an open stick check. Take it from the center. 4 goals this season for Carey. Another taking a shot right from the, they've seen, I think, now, Towson's done that at least 3 or 4 times, and we've seen more and more of that this year.
Yeah, it's unique player to player and kind of a preference of what each player likes. And these days with the stick stringing, it gives them more ability to step and shoot or run in and shoot. So it really comes down to what you prefer as a player.
Here, William & Mary, 4 minutes to go, down 2. Working in their own clearing game in transition. A whistle there in transition. Off the ball. Like they'll keep things moving here and reset. You can see, that's a good move there on the restart, right, Kelly? To get the ball into Matiri's stick, knowing that she's been face guarded.
So smart, so smart. And that's her recognizing, you know, she wants to be involved. She needs to feel that ball in her stick. Again, don't force it, but when the opportunity comes, take it.
And you see here, that was Williams. Now Olivia Malamphy, the sophomore from Crofton, Maryland, marking Matiri.
I love how she's directing. I love how she's involved with her voice. She's, you know, feeling out the situation. And the other side of that, I love how her teammates are listening. That's a good teammate.
Here she goes. Here comes the double. Tries to get it out in time. Double works, but they'll run it down. Sydney Sloan gets it. A whistle there, and they'll make Sloan come off the field, and not sure why. It might have been some sort of equipment issue. Sloan will jog off. But I think they're going to wait and let her come back on. But you really don't see that. They'll let her get taped up. But okay, they're going to wait, and now we're going to restart here with some new players on the field. All right.
There we go.
6-4 here, 3 minutes to play. William & Mary slowing things down this time offensively and settling in deeper in the clock. Matiri there in front, gets hit as she tries to shoot with a whistle there on the inside. Take another look at what happened here. She was in the crease. You can see Malamphy also with some physical play on the inside, though it looked like maybe they'll say she got pushed in. So, Matiri, 3 of the 4 William & Mary goals today. Set a freshman single season record with 45 goals for the Tribe. It's been a constant here, now as a junior from Baltimore. Playing her home state. Big catch there in the middle. That's saved that time by Merlot. And here comes Towson in transition. All that speed.
Ooh, look at her. Go, girl.
Liucci into the middle. And she draws the shooting space. You can see the official with her hands in the air, signifying just that. We talked about the speed, and they actually measure the speed for the Tigers. It's something they can track. 14 of the 16 players in the rotation have reached 17 miles per hour this year.
I think she just hit 30.
And she hit a lot more than that on that shot, going upper 90, as they say in the soccer world. Liucci scores. It's a 3-goal game.
Again, this is another opportunity we see a player just step and shoot, and she just put her whole body behind it. Look at that swag of a walk after her shot. I mean, she felt that one coming down through the midfield, and then she finished the play. That was awesome.
5th goal of the year for Liucci. And like we had mentioned, they're just sort of taking the step and shot mentality here off the free position. And you didn't mince words there, Kelly, that there is some swag there.
Yeah, she was feeling it. I mean, that is not easy to do, and I can't do it. And so it was just impressive, and let alone it put them up another point. You know, they needed that.
We've reached the top of the hour here. Tom Eschen alongside Kelly Berger here at Tiger Field. A 3-goal lead for the Tigers, taking on William & Mary in our CAA Game of the Week. There was a penalty there, a card issued quickly right around that time. So William & Mary's a man up right now. That was actually a man down goal. We got that call a little bit later. Olivia Malamphy is the one. She was called for that yellow initially on the Belmontieri play. So that is what some of that confusion was. That wasn't immediately communicated. So that is what's going on here. So William & Mary remains a man up here. Down 3.
Always something. You got to keep up with it, you know? I mean,
a lot of moving parts.
That,
exactly.
Yeah.
See?
Exactly.
Kelly and I might not be in the same spot due to COVID restrictions, but we're on the same wavelength. William & Mary at one point in this game had a 3-1 lead. Matiri all by herself. They'll call a shooting space. Did she get to keep going? She does. The play on rules, and Matiri with her 4th of the day.
This was a really smart play, especially, you know, all 7 players were involved in this. There was 2 of them set up on the elbow there on the 8-meter. One cut through, which took the defender with them and left Bell just wide open on that elbow. And that was, whether that was planned or not, that was well done. And she sticks it in the corner. I mean, you couldn't get closer to that top corner and finishes. Well done.
Ontario earlier this season scored her 100th career goal at William & Mary, the 21st to ever do it. Now she'll go and take the draw control. As William & Mary goes for a little bit of a run here after the man-up goal by Matiri. 2-goal game, 1:59 on the clock.
This is a big draw control. William & Mary wants to fight for this hard, see if they can get another goal before half, cut it to a 1-goal game.
Marshall using some of that height against Matiri and can't get down low enough for the ground ball. Looks like Matiri pushed off. And Towson will take over quickly. Here's Luigi. Seven to 5. 18th ranked Towson on top of an upset-minded William & Mary team. They came to play today, the Tribe.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. They look like a different team on both ends of the field.
Tracking that all the way that time was Raul.
From their ball handling to their, aggressive defense, even on the offensive end. And maybe it's, just took a little bit for them to get that confidence back. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from them.
Nice job from Hertzberg, the freshman from Bethesda, in the clearing game. 1 minute to go here. William & Mary down 2, but with possession. Cutting across the middle, that time is Simonides. It's taken away. See some of that speed on display from Malamphy, who has tracked the highest speeds here so far, and they'll call the delay of game penalty on Matiri. So she will now, with the green card, it's a 1 minute releasable penalty. That's the green card issued for non-engagement fouls and failure to move 2 meters away for things like fouls in the middle of field, free positions and whatnot. So it's a 1 minute releasable penalty. Now Towson goes a man up. Don't see those as often as yellow, so I figured I'd explain it. 30 seconds to go.
I appreciated that explanation for sure, Tom. I thought that was good. If I had to guess here, Towson's going to take the last shot or take the opportunity that they have to see if they can score one more before half.
Drawing a shooting space there now along the left side with an opportunity. 16.6 to go. Working the way inside, that time was Marshall, saved by Raul, and a whistle before the shot. I think they're gonna wave it off. They do, a restart, and I think William & Mary's set to just hold it right there. Clock is still winding despite the blow of the whistle. They're gonna try and restart here. The clock will run on infractions inside on the offense on the critical scoring area, so that is why the time expired. And that's why the first 30 minutes of the half are over, sort of anticlimactically, but it is over. Good thing we got another 30 minutes to play, but what a half it was. First, it was William & Mary, and then Towson, Kelly, came and sort of stemmed the tide, but we've got a good battle here, right?
Yeah, a great battle. One that is both ends. They have to show up defensively, offensively, as well as William & Mary. It's going to be a battle to the end, is what my guess is.
4 goals for Blair Perry, 4 goals for Belle Matiri, and 7 saves for Elsa Raul. Second half coming up. Back live to Towson, Maryland. The 18th ranked Tigers with a 7-5 lead over the upset-minded William & Mary Tribe. And it was a good first half, a battle. William & Mary jumped out to an early lead, Kelly, and we saw Belle Matiri really start to settle in.
Yeah, she wanted the ball in her stick. She said she wanted to be involved early on. That gets her going, and she proved that. I mean, it was in her stick over and over and over again, and she was productive when it was in her stick. So I'm all for that if that works for her.
So the first part of the game, William & Mary had possession, and then over the past 15 minutes or so, Towson settled in, and they started not only in transition, but they won a lot of draw controls, 10 of 13 in the first half.
Yeah, you can only expect that from a good Towson team. You know, they were gonna show up. They weren't gonna just sleep the whole time and, not produce. So they started on the draw circle, then they started in transition, and they started connecting with passes and finishing the ball. And it turns out that, they come ready to play, but maybe not right away, but they showed up. So that's what matters.
Blair Perry with 4 first-half goals for the Tigers, 1 from Shelby Stack, 1 from Carrie Liucci, 1 from Caitlin Thornton as well. The other goal for William & Mary coming from Sydney Sloan, and I think Colleen Dawson probably telling the rest of her team, all right, Belle's doing her thing. Everybody else has to rally around her now.
Yeah, you got to have both, offense, defense connect, but then you have to have all 7 players connect on the offensive side, all 7 players connect on the defensive side. Colleen talked about that. She wanted to put a whole game together, not just one half and another half. So let's see if they can do that.
See the lights now going on here at Tiger Field in Towson, Maryland, alongside Kelly Berger. I am Tom Eschen on the call for our CAA Game of the Week, Saturday night under the lights. in Maryland this week. Here, a good battle, a CAA game between the Towson Tigers at 7-2 overall. This is their first CAA game, so to speak, of the season. Not going to count towards the standings because William & Mary is in the South Division. William & Mary 0-1 after their loss to Elon last week. But like we said, looks like a different William & Mary team this week. They've come out to play and battle so far.
Yeah, I think even though it doesn't necessarily quote-unquote count, it does to them just because it's on their schedule, right? And they need a good win, and this would be huge for them.
Well, you know what? I should bring up that there is an at-large team as well in all of this. So the top 2 teams in each conference are going to go to the tournament, and then there's going to be an at-large team picked as well. So that's something else. I'm sure that whoever picks that, or how they determine that's done, that is going to be a factor, a game like this.
For sure. There's always all kinds of different hoops and jumps that you can go through. And at the end of the day, I think Colleen wants a CAA win. You know, she hasn't coached too many CAA games, so that'll feel good for her.
It's just her second she's ever coached, despite the fact she's been here for 2 years. That's the pandemic world we're living in.
Exactly.
So midway through the possession clock, finally William & Mary sets it in to their offensive zone, and I think they prefer it that way. We did see at the end of the first half they slowed things down as much as they could. Here's a Honan dodging down into the alley, takes a look, dishes it back out to Sapola. Honan had a really nice game against Elon, had a couple of goals. Going to her early here, takes a shot wide of the cage, backed up by Matiri.
And I would say that Bell probably put herself back there on purpose for a wide shot to happen, and then she automatically gets this ball and she's able to challenge from behind the goal, and it works out for her.
5th of the day for Matiri. We'll have to take another look. You saw the little shimmy to the right, back to the inside. What a goal by Matiri, and just like that, it's a 1-goal game.
She knows where to put herself. She knows where to put her body in order to get the ball and be productive for her team. And she knows she has to do that. So she's able to roll back and forth, field the defender, turn her shoulders, and finish her shot.
The hesitation, Kelly, it got me. Look at this. Inside. Oh, wow. What a play.
I mean, I thought she was switching hands, and she fooled me. She came right back around with that right hand, and I think she did to the defender as well.
4th time this season. She's had 5 goals or more. 2-time CAA Player of the Week, Matiri. We've seen her in the draw control circle as well today. She's got 3 of those. And a week after she was scoreless, no goals, no assists. The second time it's happened to her all season long. She's got 5 goals today. 5 of the 6, mind you.
Sometimes it takes that for you to kind of switch it on and change things up, and I imagine that's what she did, and she's shown us that she's ready to play.
Barry, that speed. You've seen her in the open field now a few times. After a draw control win, she has gone right to the cage, right into the critical scoring area, and this time now she'll get a free position. 4 goals today for the sophomore. Darts inside, bounces it home. The answer by Perry, her 5th goal of the day. Her and Matiri continue to go back and forth.
You know what I love about Blair is she puts everything that she has into whatever she is doing. So if she's running down the field, right here you'll see her put everything into this final shot. She throws her body towards the goal almost, and that's hard to stop for a goalie. You can't see the ball. You don't know where it's going. And quite frankly, she might not know where it's going. She's just shooting as hard as she can, and she's putting every bit of her body into that shot. And that is just, you know, that feels good for her, but it also looks just so enthusiastic, and it's fun to watch.
No wonder her goggles keep falling off. There were 2 explosions there. You could see initially off of the arc, and then the finish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and she's just, I mean, I think that's like the 5th time her goggles have fallen off. Maybe they need to be tightened a little bit, but either way, she's throwing her body into every move because you can tell she really wants this.
There was a late penalty on William & Mary after that goal. It almost resulted in another goal for Towson. It actually turns out to be a big stop, a man down. There was a yellow card on Grace Ahonen that was off camera that we didn't see. Of course, we're calling this from a screen with COVID restrictions in place. So there was a yellow there in William & Mary. Now they'll try and get rid of this 2-minute penalty.
Yeah, the goal here probably is for William and Mary to get down and try and kill this penalty. Unless they have a completely wide open shot, I would tell them to kind of hold the ball, see if we can, even out the players on the field and get a good opportunity. It's a big goal that they can, pull it to one.
We're about 30 seconds into that penalty right now. So with, you consider the 90-second possession clock, they'll try and do 90 of the 120. If my math is correct. Yep, 2 minutes is 120 seconds. So they'll use as many seconds as possible here.
Yeah, try and take it down to about, 20 seconds and then start the challenge. Now, they might not do that, but.
And looks like they draw a foul here, and William and Mary might get an opportunity. And you might imagine for a defense, sometimes when you're playing defense and a man up, it might get you a little discombobulated, I'd imagine.
Yeah, things are, just unorganized, a little different. So you got to adjust accordingly and get organized as quickly as possible.
Here's Sloan, a goal already today, stops a few meters in front of the crease, and now she's on a middle of 3 defenders. And they'll blow another whistle here. We're about a minute into this penalty. Sloan continues to have possession here as there's not much time left on the possession clock. 17 seconds there. It's time working her way around is Kopech. Back behind the cage, 9 on the clock. Little roll dodge by Simonides and scores! Cuts the lead to 1 once again. London Simonides, the sophomore, 7th goal of the year.
That was a perfect read on London. She knew she was, trickling down on that shot clock. She was behind the goal. She took that one high fake. The defender bit it, and, she turned in and found an open shot. Her hands are free and put it behind the goalie. She used her height there. That was, look how excited they are. That gives you excitement for them. And defense looked a little unorganized right there. What do you think, Tom? I felt like they were a little discombobulated.
It looked like a perfectly executed man-down offensive situation, right, by William and Mary. They got the clock as far as they could, and then they scored, mind you.
Yeah, and you feel the momentum is a little bit with William and Mary right now. They're pumping each other up around the goal circle or all over the field, to be honest. I mean, they're just hooting and hollering with each other. So let's see what they do with this.
Towson sort of had the momentum at the end of the first half. It feels like William and Mary, who has been a second-half team all year, has it here to start the first 5 minutes of the second 30. Marshall wins that to herself. A foul there on the ensuing ground ball, and it's going to go the way of Towson. So they'll get some time here. About 40 seconds, man up still.
The one thing Towson has to remember is they are still winning. So although they feel like they're not playing their best right now in these, first 5 minutes of the half, they're still winning. So they need to play like that.
A rare turnover there, and they're not going to take advantage at all of this. So it's going to be William and Mary. This is Hertzberg working her way in the clear. Now they'll work it around. Vasquenza, and now in the middle they go. Donovan. Sloan keeps on going after the whistle. Looking into the middle. Ahonen couldn't quite catch it. She gets hit, but whistle coming the other way. Towson the other way. Perry. Perry looking ahead. Over to Marshall. He had a whistle there off the play briefly there. It looked like Marshall, if she caught that, was gone.
Yeah, if I was on the field right now, I'd probably, try and echo to my teammates. Let's get the ball around. Let's get a few touches. Let's slow it down. Let's breathe. The ball's been up and down a couple times. Your middies might be a little tired. Just get some touches. Settle in here, Towson.
Nice find there, right in front of the cage. I think that was Thornton. Looked like a knee to knee. Or maybe she got a knee to the stomach. Oh, excuse me, that was Sliwak. She'll get an opportunity here on the arc. good look here as Liucci found Sliwak there on the doorstep, and then Sliwak sort of just going down, and she'll get a chance here. Up 1. Sliwak takes a hard shot and scores with a stick spike. 2-goal lead. Sliwak's 19th goal of the year. That's 3rd on the team. 17th goal, excuse me.
She capitalizes on that opportunity that she comes around. She gets fouled. She gets put on the 8-meter, and she goes hard to the goal with a lefty up here, finding that corner, kind of looks away to see the defense and finishes her shot.
A good opportunity for us to talk about some of these transfers that Sonia LaMonica has brought in this year. Sliwak, one of the 2 that came over from Maryland as graduate students. Natalie Miller, a defender, also has played and started in every game. Sliwak's played and started in every game this season. Olivia Malamphy from Boston College, already said her name. 3 impact transfers they brought in and really increased their depth and made them a better team.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot going on last year. Sonia somehow figured her way to get some really good transfers, and she said it herself. They've come right in, made an impact, and just kind of meshed with the team right away. So it was meant to be.
And sort of, you can see them getting a chance to break out. Players like Sliwak, who had in 24 games, 7 goals, 3 assists over the course of her career at Maryland, but also here now really getting an opportunity to show, just with playing time, what she's made of. Nice look there to Thornton in the middle. Nice catch by Thornton. And Sonia LaMonica said that Sliwak made it obvious for everybody about how good she was from the start.
She definitely doesn't look shy. She doesn't look like she's nervous with the ball. She's ready to go, and if you give her the opportunity, she's going to. So we've seen that, now for the 2nd time.
Yeah, here she is once again, sort of taking over a bit here after William Mary took momentum at the beginning. It's Sliwak taking it right back. Here she goes once again, that time going a little off-speed stuff there on the inside post. Sliwak's got 2 back-to-back, 3-goal game.
You can tell she's comfortable here on that 8-meter, especially at that hash mark. She does the same thing where she kind of looks towards the center defender, reads them, and then just turns and rips. And this time, like you said, Tom, she shoots it a little bit lower, changes speed on that shot, and executes when she needs to.
I don't think it's hard to understand how difficult what she just did was. Looking at her teammate, Lindsay Marshall, while she's running towards the cage. I mean, go and try and do that outside right now. I mean, while you're watching the game, you know what I mean? She be able to do that and know what you're going to do while in the process. Just a subtle move there that was really effective.
Yeah, it's almost like a habit at that point, right? She's probably practiced that over and over again, so she knows exactly what she needs to do. But that hash mark is not easy either, so she's making it look easy.
Here's William & Mary, a rare draw control win. That's just their 4th they've won all day long, and there's been 19 of them. And that has really made a big difference here today. And just the possession time, and look, they're down 3. So if you're Colleen Dawson, you'd say, okay, guys, I mean, there's a category we haven't won, but we're in this. Russell on the inside, drawing a whistle. And a yellow card at that, so William & Mary going to go man up. We'll cross-check, called by the official, and now William & Mary will go man up again.
Yeah, you have to keep that stick up and down vertical, and it looks like that stick was just a little bit more horizontal than the referee wanted, and she's in charge at the end of the day.
And there's been more fouls by William & Mary, but I should also note that that is, from my count, the 3rd yellow card today on Towson. And if there's 4, that's a 2-minute non-releasable penalty.
Yes, and that can completely change a game. It's not always changing the game just in physical play, but mental play too. The whole strategy has to change, and they have to refocus on other things. And so we'll see if that happens. I mean, I would hope that it wouldn't, but you never know. And the physical play that Towson plays with, you got to be careful with it.
So in the meantime, William & Mary will take the man-up situation here for sure. Down 3, 8 minutes into this half. Looked like there was the cutter, Kazi, in the middle, flashing, and doesn't matter. She gets it, and then batting it in to score. There was Russell, I believe. What
Hard
a
to tell
goal!
there.
Doing it without a cradle, really. Using the plastic of her stick. The Denver, Colorado native, her 8th goal of the year. Check this out.
Yeah, you know what I loved about this is you have 3 green jerseys right there. They are going hard. They are not giving up on this 50-50 ball. And it looks like Towson was just kind of staring at it, and William and Mary capitalized and finished the shot. Whatever way they can.
Russell flings it in. It's a 2-goal game now. The junior went to Colorado Academy. She was great out there in the Rocky Mountains, a 2018 U.S. Lacrosse All-American. 2019 as a rookie, a CAA All-Rookie player. The ensuing draw control. Schrader battling for it. And the ground ball picked up. Possibly scramble for it. Russell was in there. Whistle going Kerry Thornton and Towson's way. There he gets it to her sister. Back to Caitlin.
You know, Tom, we haven't seen too much of their transition really all game. Here and there, but it hasn't been something that they've done every single time. And you wonder if that's affecting Towson at all. Are they being stopped by that, or are they choosing to do that themselves? Because I do think when they do it, it makes a difference.
There's another nice ground ball pickup, that time by Hertzberg. They now will work it into their offensive zone. You saw on the bottom of your screen, also has to tally the William & Mary yellow card. So next yellow card's a 2-minute unreleasable penalty on either side. And like you said, Kelly, that can be a huge momentum shifter. That stick near the sphere of the head, and it'll be taken there in the dot behind the cage after the whistle. And Simonides was the one who drew that foul. Little fadeaway that time on the inside. I believe that was Milwitz off the mark. Still a 2-goal game. That changed the way you play it all, Kelly, knowing how big that next yellow card could be.
I think it has to a little bit. I think you have to think about it, have it in the back of your mind, and, you know, just be cautious of it. Don't necessarily change too much, but use your feet more than your stick, and don't go for the crazy swings.
Nicole Liucci drawing the shooting space. You saw the impact that can make in transition at times for Towson in getting these free positions. So Liucci saved by Rao. Going up, almost looked like she saved that with the bottom part of her stick, making yet another, her 8th of the day.
Save it whatever way you can. That's what I would say.
Those are goalies. They'll do what they can.
Exactly.
Their body is sacrificed. Here's Hertzberg. He's done a nice job in the clearing game today for William & Mary. 10 minutes in to this half. 2-goal game. It's felt like at times Towson could maybe go on a run, but William & Mary has stuck around. Got to give them credit.
They sure have, and they haven't been bashful either. You know, they're throwing their bodies right in the mix with each other, you know, whatever they can do to make it work each possession.
Didn't think we'd have a bashful drop here in the course of this broadcast. I love it. Oh, nice try on the inside by Russell, though. There to stop it was Merlot.
Oh, there it is.
They're going to stop this in transition. So there is a yellow on Russell, meaning it's the 4th of the day on William & Mary, a 2-minute unreleasable penalty. Now Towson with possession. So if this means anything, I played when this official was officiating, and she does call it tight. So that's another thing you have to do. You have to kind of know your officials. You have to read what they are calling early on. If they're calling something a little bit more tight, you have to play into that and be aware of that. So Towson, a man up now. 2 minutes. See how many shots they can get in this amount of time. Taking their time at first. Coming out of the back end is Deltuva. Into the middle, and a shot and a score. Caitlin Thornton, excuse me. Sliwak that time. Her third of the day. She's got a hat trick. Sliwak now with 19 goals this season, 28 points on the year. It's the first here to make it a 3-goal game, 11-8 Towson. You can see how big that yellow was.
So many weapons here on the Towson offense. You can stop one and another one will show up, and they've showed that. I mean, they have so many different weapons that do so many different things. It's hard to defend.
So 11-8 Towson on top. It was Perry at first for the Tigers. Now it's Sliwak taking over here in the second half. We'll take a break. We'll be back. More to come here in our CAA Game of the Week. We are back after the latest goal by the Towson Tigers with their latest draw control effort. A big moment here for William & Mary. Down 3, less than 20 minutes to go.
Still very much in this game. I mean, hopefully in that timeout they stress that this is still very much a close game, and especially with how both teams are playing. I mean, William & Mary can definitely still have a major impact.
Yeah, that latest timeout, not called by either team. It's the under 20-minute TV timeout, so they can thank us for that. As Towson comes out with possession and moving quickly in that. That time, they didn't give Sliwak any room. She has been very active here in the first 12 minutes of the half.
It looks like they're face guarding a little bit here too, changing up a little bit on the defense, seeing what they can pick apart.
Shot goes wide. Time by Lynch. They'll continue to move it around. Stack had a goal in the first half. Defended by Sloan, and that time getting a goal. Towson going on a run here in the second half. Stack's second of the day.
This is one of these takes where she had on her mind that she wanted to go to goal. She drove hard one way with her right hand, turned back and saw the opening, but she was going hard. And the off-hip shot, I mean, that is well placed and much needed for Towson to give them a little bit more breathing room.
I was a little unsettled when the goal happened because I forgot that at Towson they do this sort of light show. We haven't been able to see that because it hasn't been dark. Now it's dark enough where the lights like flash and stuff. So I thought there was something going on with our feed, but no, that's going on the stadium.
That's exactly what I was thinking, so I'm glad you clarified that because I was a little confused as well.
Yeah, so don't adjust your television set, as they would say back in the old days. Another draw control win for Towson, and they put on a clinic here. Back in transition they go. Thornton a little wide. 18-4. And you look at how much and how often William & Mary's been on defense. I mean, they've got to be getting a little bit tired at this point.
Yeah, you would think that their legs are just a little bit heavier than maybe Towson's offense is feeling. Even still, I mean, when you're playing offense and you're in control, it's a bit easier to dictate. So, you know, you would hope that, again, they look at each other, 17 minutes, they say they have a lot of time, and they can make a difference right here, get a couple cause turnovers and get it on the other end.
And something we should know is in our conversation with Sonia LaMonica, she said that their offensive depth is greater than it's ever been before. And we've seen different players come in, and that's saying something for a program that's won 4 CAA championships. And she's had a lot of good teams here. That's put away once again by Sliwak. She's come on here in this half. 4 goals.
And again, another redodge. So when we say redodge, they dodge once and they pull it out and they dodge again. And sometimes it's one of those, no. Okay, yeah, good shot. And she knew what she was doing. She had confidence in it. She took it from that 8-meter and, there goes the light show again. I would just try and score just so I could see the light show.
These fouls starting to add up for William and Mary here today as the free position, 7 of 14. Towson is so far. We've mentioned the yellow cards and those man-up opportunities as well. So that you can sort of see that, and the stats are sort of going the way of the Tigers. And we did the game last week on LSN between Elon and William and Mary, and the stats are pretty much virtually the same across the board. And Elon won that 15-6, but it didn't feel that way. Here it's sort of a different story. The stats are going Towson's way. You can see all those stats are starting to pay dividends now for them here as we make our way to the midway point of this half.
I'm sure that'll confuse Colleen even more when she looks at that. She'll just, why? But that's the sport we're in. I mean, it's crazy how things can change from week to week.
Yeah, the dispossession of the ball to me has been the biggest difference here in this half for sure. In terms of jaw control after jaw control, and William and Mary just having to get a stop in order to get the ball. And that's a lot different than just being able to get it to start after a goal.
Yeah, and I can even see the change in their confidence. Towson just feels like they're passing the ball better, having more confidence on their drive, not hesitating, and just like we talked about earlier, connecting better.
There's Thornton going to her left, bouncing it. Past Raul, looks like will she run it out? She doesn't win the race. Sliwak does. Good hustle. Went for the one-timer in front that time. That picked up here on the back end by Hobbs. Anna Hobbs, senior, checking in for the first time today. Another pass over the cage. Thornton has it jarred loose. Hand goes in the air. Do they let it continue? No goal. They wave it off. It'll be a free position. See that? I mean, that would have been a pretty goal by Thornton. Field hockey style. Man.
A little trick shot there.
Not to be. She'll get it instead on the right side of the arc. And away she goes. Not past Raul. Gathered there behind by Caroline Jordan. So there is the stop that William and Mary's been needing here the last few moments.
Yeah, and William and Mary needs a goal for sure, 100%. I don't want that to overtake them getting this ball down safely to the attacking zone and getting some touches, because they really haven't been able to feel the ball in their stick too much on this half. So, like you said, possession time has been dominated by Towson. So let's see if we can, feel the ball in our stick and then get in sync with each other.
Looks like they will try and settle in. Maybe get Matiri going, get the ball in her stick again. I haven't said her name much in this second half. She's got 5 goals today. Russell looking over the middle. That's taken away. Good job defensively once again, and a nice clear as well with all that traffic. That done by Perry. That's what's impressive to me about Marshall and Perry. I mean, the midfielders, as you know, they'll go up and down, but.
Yeah, and some of these teams, they run midfield lines, right? They come out in waves. Marshall and Perry haven't been out yet.
And another one for Towson after the quick clear and the transition goal. A timeout with 15:01 to go. That's Thornton once again, her second of the day. 14-8, Towson on top.
It's almost like they forgot she was down there. She's just standing on the doorstep, kind of wide open, almost surprised herself, and was able to beat the goalie there, put it nice and low, make it difficult for William and Mary to stop her. A really good vision also on the Towson attacking side.
Abby Mona making a nice play there. Another one of those fifth-year seniors. As we've talked about some of these older players on the team, but also we mentioned earlier, we should spell it out for you, some of these sisters combinations that have defined this program, I guess, over the past few years. Hannah and Madison Hobbs, a couple of seniors, is all entering today. Caitlin and Carrie Thornton, they're the only ones that aren't twins. But I can't imagine as a coach, he goes, yeah, they all wear, like, the number, like Hannah and Madison. Madison's number's 25, Hannah's 29. Carrie and Nicole Liucci, Carrie's 20, Nicole is 21. I mean, they dress sort of the same, the ponytail and whatever. I mean, I think it's probably fun for the coaches, and it also creates a competitive atmosphere as well.
It's almost like they're doing it just to, like, mess with you, you know? I mean, they are so tight in probably the way they look, the way they act, the way they talk, but it's really cool and very, very unique. I mean, I just think it's really awesome to see, and you kind of call these, you know, players and teammates your sisters anyway, but it takes a whole new meaning with Towson.
And it's happening here at Towson, but at Ward Melville, I mean, the Liuccis, the Hobbs, and the Thorntons all were there at the same time. So
yeah.
This is something that they're all used to, and they all got together. Hey, let's all just go to Towson, everybody. You know, go to the other hotbed in the Baltimore area in Maryland. From Long Island, you get the taste of it all, right? And
not to mention, it probably is it makes it a little easier for the parents too, right? I mean, can you imagine if all of those kids were at different places? It's tough. I had a brother that played college lacrosse, and I was playing, and my parents were going here and there. Now they're all in one place. I would say thank you to them.
I'd imagine all those different parents of the kids are probably all pretty good friends at this point. I'm sure they've known each other a long, long time. They've seen a lot.
Yeah. Lots of tailgates together. Lots of tailgates.
I mean, got to give those some applause for, I'm sure, also not only tailgating, but sitting in probably icy temperatures in those early spring days, I'm sure,
exactly.
in Long Island as well.
Exactly. Driving you everywhere, you know, making all the trips.
So it's 14-8. We're midway through this second half. Haven't seen Carly Merlo get tested often at all. She didn't start the game. Lindsay Posner did for Towson, and then Merlo came in when it was tied 3-3 in the first half. And a violation here in the draw, and William Mary off and running. So here we go. The shot by Schrader, you can hear on the sideline, rip it, rip it, rip it. She does. William Mary back on the board, ending the run.
Well, that didn't take long, but you can tell Sabrina, she was excited after that goal, obviously. But even before, I mean, the play was just to go. And she bought in, and she took the hit, saw the corner, finished a shot, and then found her teammates and said, you can't see it in the replay right here, but you can tell in the huddle there, they're saying, keep going, we got this. And so they're trying to pump each other up and remind each other through the long half.
We're only halfway through this second half. Schrader's 21st goal of the season. She had a goal last game. She took 9 shots, the most she has all year long. And that we had alluded to with Montieri not as productive as normal, not taking her normal amount of shots. It was Schrader who tried to contribute on that end, and Colleen Dawson said she was frustrated at times. So she says, I took 9 shots, I only made 1. So that time, you heard rip it, and the message got through.
Wow, big call there, big call. The off ball, a Towson defender, or I should just say a Towson midfielder, pushing at the circle there, and sometimes you get caught and sometimes you don't. And she was caught, unfortunately, giving William and Mary that ball.
Here back and forth, Schrader to Montieri. Montieri goes down hard. Big collision with a whistle. And you're right, Kelly. We have seen a little bit more of a sense of urgency for William and Mary. They slowed things down at times before that timeout by Colleen Dawson, and now maybe she's saying to pick up the pace a bit.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit of confidence that they're having too. You know, they're saying, we're hanging with Towson. Don't look past us. And they're showing that.
5 goals today for Montieri. Here she is trying to score. It bounces away. Didn't exactly see if Merlo got her stick on it at all, if it went off the posts. But back the other way comes the Tigers. Chenoweth inside. That's stopped by Rao. Chenoweth trying to get an assist, which she got last week.
Yeah, there's that Towson speed that we continue to talk about. And the unfortunate part is when you do not connect, it just goes right back down the other way. And so you'll see here, let's see if William & Mary capitalizes while, maybe Towson is pretty tired. Their middies just ran up and back. And that can be exhausting.
14-9, it's a 5-goal game. Seen a few other sources of offense for the Tribe with Russell, Simonides, Sloan getting goals today. There's a shot by Russell, and it looked like it hit someone's foot, and a smart pickup there by Towson and Malamphy. Said she wins those 50-50 balls. She won that one. Back comes the Tigers. Here we go again. Lynch shoots. Looking for the backup. Good hustle by the goalie, Rowell. She'll have to get back to her cage quickly, though. Sliwak working along the crease. That one jarred away. Nice job defensively, that time by Millwitz. The senior from Forest Hill.
Sorry, Tom. Defensively, William & Mary looks very fierce. Towson looks a little lackadaisical. And if I had to say anything to them, Towson, finish the game. They're up, but it doesn't look like William & Mary is backing down.
Audrey Hogue completing the clear. Senior in her 5th season, the captain as well. Member of that Hogue family, you might have heard that name in women's lacrosse. Her sister Claudia is on the team, a goalie. Cousins Katie plays for North Carolina. Caroline for Hopkins. Riley plays for Virginia. All 5 at once play for Madison. Now that's a lacrosse family.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, for sure.
And a whistle there as it appeared that Schrader was barraged as she tried to take a shot and couldn't even muster that much. But she'll gather herself, put her goggles back on, and take a spot here on the arc. Schrader scoring her first of the day a moment ago to make it 14-9. Transfer from High Point. Spent 3 years there, has really broken out here as a junior with William & Mary this season. 21 goals now. Here she goes again, trying to muscle her way in there. It's backed up. 34 on the possession clock.
Great take there. Went wide, so it's not considered a turnover in an attacker's eyes because your team gets it right back. You don't lose anything there.
Looked like Marshall tripped over the line there. So they will reset the possession clock because of that. That's sort of a subtle big play as William & Mary gets a fresh 90. They get the ball into the stick now of Matiri, and she'll survey and conduct. 5-goal game. Here comes the double on Matiri. He dishes it off as she goes down. Good pass, good catch. Looked like Russell on the left side. Matiri's got the backup.
Really good ball movement there. Swinging it behind, swinging it again, finding the shift of the ball before the defense can get there. That's what you want. A really good opportunity.
Altuve that time guarding Matiri. She dishes to Russell. Russell wide again, but the backup once again to William & Mary, getting some shots this time. Simonides was looking for Matiri. It drops into the stick of Sloan. Like Kopech was by herself for a few moments, and she'll get it out. 15 right now on the possession clock. Biondi in there providing the defense. Chenoweth looking for a cause turnover. 10 on the clock. The ball jar loose late. Chenoweth called. Stick check too high.
That's one of those defensive terms that you just, you want it back so bad because you had them there and then you bailed them out with a foul, and that's just unfortunate.
Yeah, 7 on the possession clock when that was called. The restart for Sloan inside of Matiri, right into the stick of Merlot. Merlot, the sophomore from Reisterstown, Maryland. Inside lacrosse, mid-season All-American, and that's why. Top 10 goalie nationally. 4 double-digit save games this year. making the saves when she's needed to. Just 4 today, as you recall, came in the midway through the first half. Made a big one there.
Seize the opportunity when you have it. That's what I say.
Here's Perry. Sliwak's lived right there. That right side along the goal line. This time she feeds Carrie Thornton for the goal. Carrie's first of the day. And
This is, again, that Towson connection that they are so successful with once they have it.
And you saw the stop on one end, leading to a goal on the other end. A huge momentum shift. The Tigers on a run, taking this thing at home on Tiger Field. We're going to take a break and bring you the finish of this one after the break. Well, elsewhere in the CAA today, Hofstra with a big win over JMU, and Alyssa Perella came into the day needing just 1 point to become the all-time leading scorer in CAA history, and there it is right there. And Hofstra really dominated JMU, but Perella, who has, as we know, become such a prolific member, and she is forever at the top of that list. And sitting there at number 5, and we have to mention it, is Kelly Berger, my broadcast partner today, at 262. So Perella on her way there had to come over the top of Kelly Berger on the way to get there as well. Congratulations to Alyssa Perella and Hofstra with that big win today.
Yeah, huge congratulations. That is a lot of points. Oh, I mean, that is incredible, and nothing but respect for her. That's pretty amazing. Congratulations.
And doing it at this point, I mean, we still have plenty of games to go, so that's only going to grow, and she's going to probably hold that record for quite a while. So,
exactly. Good for her.
An interesting day with with Hofstra beating JMU today, and that as well, not in the same division, but also just sort of showing you what can happen here in CAA. A lot of these teams are very competitive. We talked to the coaches, and they're excited about the competitiveness of the conference this year, and we've seen that. And you keep in mind, after today, Towson just had a game added against Drexel on the 13th. So that's coming up, a midweek game, and Drexel has looked powerful. They're 9-1, the Dragons this year. They're good.
Yeah, they are good, and I'm excited to see what they do. Like you said, everyone is competitive in the CAA, and like we saw here for a little while today, even it could still happen. You never know what you're going to get. Every team is ready to compete, and when they walk out on the field, it doesn't really matter what it counts towards. They're just ready to play, and they want to play hard.
Delaware now out of the mix, and they had been struggling. Honestly, they were 1-5, and they had the rest of their season suspended, postponed, canceled, whatever you want to call it, but they're no longer in that mix. So that leaves the final 6 teams, and 5 of the 6 teams are going to play in the conference tournament. But those 5, these teams are all like we've seen with William and Mary, and it's competitive at that, which has been fun. And to see Elon really come up in this South division with Elon, JMU, and William and Mary, we've seen Elon a couple times here, Kelly, and they're the real deal at this point.
Yeah, they are. They're really fun to watch. I think they look like a really coachable team, and they have a really good coaching staff behind them that's working hard to, do whatever they can to put them in a position to win. So I think we could see them in the long run.
Yeah, and also you look at the Elon side of things, not to harp on them for too long, but it's also the fact that they built the program there, a few years ago, and they've sort of created this out of nothing. And I think there's something to be said for that, and there's a different chip on the shoulder because of that too.
Exactly.
Here's Sliwak from the middle, 4 goals today. Takes a shot and scores. That's number 5 for Sliwak. What a day.
She has found herself on that 8-meter over and over again, and she finishes. I mean, she can finish high, she can finish low, she can finish off hip. She gets a quick start off of that 8-meter, and I know I talked about that one time before, but that's really the key to, getting ahead of those 2 defenders that are coming in at you, and sometimes the 7 defenders coming in at you because you're the focus. So she gets that quick first step, she puts all she has, and she gets that off-hip shot, and that's a really tough save for any goalie to make.
Career high, 5 goals today for Nikki Sliwak, tying her career high in points, season high in points. Also matches in career highs as well. So having a career day, Nikki Sliwak, the fifth-year senior from Watauga, New York.
A career day on a Saturday night. That sounds fun.
16-9. Towson now on top of William & Mary. Continuing their dominance in the draw control. That time, Carrie Thornton able to gather it. That's been another storyline of this game for sure. Marshall has 8 of them. Carrie Thornton has 6 of the draw controls. Another 6 for Perry. So they have gathered those up and continued to dominate possession, to just try to prevent a comeback here from William & Mary. I think that's been the biggest part, and they haven't been able to go on a run, William & Mary.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Towson has had the ball almost this entire half, and I'm sure that feels good to them, because I feel like maybe in the start of the game, it didn't feel like that. They were very disorganized, it felt, in the first 10 minutes, but they were able to settle in, and they did what they needed to do.
A yellow card on Audrey Hogue that time on William & Mary. So Towson goes on that man up for the next 2 minutes. A shooting space coming out of that here. It was a close game throughout. Even at the beginning of this half, I believe William & Mary made it a 1-goal game early on. First few minutes of this half, and then Towson just sort of took over. Really settled in. You could feel it happen as we went. Flag goes up. There was a hit on the shoulder there, and now we'll just redo it again. The offending player has to go 4 meters behind. Everybody else 2 meters away. And looked like a false start there on the start on the William & Mary side of things. So now she will also go behind.
The whole team will just go behind.
You can see the referees out there directing traffic now. What that does is really just provide a little bit more of an advantage here for Liucci. Still looking for her first of the day. Her sister has one, Carrie. This is Nicole. She does make a pass to her sister, who goes just wide.
Gonna say, they look alike, don't they?
They do look for each other, like the Thorntons do as well. That time looking for Perry, and a good stop. How about the stick work behind the cage from Rao? Heady play. I mean, she's a senior, a captain, and not going to turn it over behind there. Rao's brother played lacrosse at Ithaca, her father at Penn State. Go Bombers. As an Ithaca alum myself, I think I can say that.
Yes, we'll allow it.
The Ithaca women's team is top 10 in the nation right now. They're having a great season.
You play cold lacrosse up there, you know, Tom? It's just cold.
It's almost a different kind of a feel, isn't it?
It is, for sure.
Try there in the middle from Simonides. Ball continuing here on the William & Mary side. Opek. Defense continuing here. They've sort of rotated around. We've looked, I've sort of tried to keep an eye on as the day gone on Towson defending Matiri. Right now it's Deltuva. They had Williams on there to start. Malamphy as well. Chenoweth mainly has been around the crease. Basically whoever has been around there for the Towson defense.
Yeah, and when talking to Sonia, she wasn't exactly sure who was going to get that matchup, but that was definitely part of their game plan. I mean, it has to be. She's a huge threat and makes a huge difference. And, you know, you can say you want all 7 attackers to have an impact, and you do, but you also have a very good player in Belle, and you want her to, you know, do her thing.
She started off doing her thing, and she's continued to do it. I mean, you have to give her credit with 5 goals on the day. 5 of the 9 that William & Mary scored. Sort of waking up after a down week last week, and look to build on this moving forward. William & Mary with a couple of dates with JMU after this.
Yeah, I wonder what her week was like. I think about, you know, games that I was held scoreless and kind of like it just eating you up. I'm sure she's that type of player, and she showed it today. She came out hot.
With a purpose, and Her shots had plenty of pace on them to start, for sure.
Yeah.
Perry gets the foot off, gets right off the bat there and scores her 6th of the day. Blair Perry, the sophomore, continuing to fill it up.
Coach told us that she finds her way to the 8-meter, and she has done that today. She knows how to get off that 8-meter quickly. And again, another off-hip, low shot. It's tough for any goalkeeper to save. Coming straight down the middle. I mean, I've said it a bunch, but I do not want to be in that goalie's shoes. And, you know, especially with the Towson shooters that they have.
Perry's 6 goals, I mentioned on the day. That's a career high for her, tying her career high in points as well. Previously, she had 5 goals twice this season. So, I mean, if you are Colleen Dawson and William & Mary, you gotta say, well, it took 2 career days for the Tigers to beat us. You know, I mean, that's something to go home with.
Exactly. I mean, a ton to learn from this game. And I mean, Tom, I think you and I can both say that they look better than the last time we saw them. And that Colleen has said that over and over again. She wants them to look, you know, learn from each game and take away something else and then start to, you know, use it as a builder for the program. You know, don't get caught up in just that one game.
Yeah, it's about the long game for sure for the Tribe right now. And Dawson getting only half a season last year. So it's sort of like, I mean, this is her first year against CAA competition. So you'd hope she gets the longevity and the time to make it into what she wants this program to be. And you can tell there is certainly a plan in place and an idea of how to run things. Of course, she takes a lot from Kathy Reese from where she played for at Maryland. So there's also that influence too.
Yeah, she has a really good level-headed coach's mind, and I appreciate it every time we talk to her.
New keeper in here for William & Mary. This is Claudia Hogue, the sister of Audrey. Claudia, sophomore goalkeeper, so I alluded to the Hogues earlier. So they've made a change there. That's on the William & Mary side. Merlot continues to stay in the cage for the Towson Tigers. Also, Rawl did play very well here today as another goal, this time Grace Ahonen. 17-10. Ahonen's 3rd goal of the season. She had 2 last week.
Right here is really good stick work. She sees that ball in her stick. She turns to the outside, switches hands, which I am a huge fan of, and sees the net and finishes. It's smooth, and it shows that they're not scared. I mean, they're going to keep playing. And Grace did that right there.
Colleen Dawson said, quote, against Elon was the best game I've ever seen Grace Ahonen play. So when Belmontieri wasn't scoring, Grace Ahonen stepped up and scored a couple goals on that day and really did her part, I could say.
Yeah, and she should carry that confidence. I mean, when a coach gives you a compliment like that, you got to roll with it. And, you know, I know Colleen said that to us, but I'm sure she's echoed that through practice. And so hopefully that builds her more confidence and she can be a bigger impact to support that offense.
Ahonen helped her high school, Wellesley, in Massachusetts, win their first state title in school history, which I'd imagine was a pretty big deal, and I'm sure that's a legacy you want to leave. I mean, of course, we can kind of compare it to McDonough with Perry, but also winning that first one and being the class that does that, there's something special about that too.
Yeah, I never won in high school.
Yeah.
So to like win anything big like that,
yeah.
you get the taste of it, and that's huge.
A restart from the dot high, and then going low for the score is Julia Porter. The light show continues here at Tiger Field on a Saturday night.
Yeah, good for Julia here. She reads what the defense is doing. It almost looked like the defense was a little confused, you know, who's going to ball, who's staying off ball. But she reads the defense here and almost surprises herself, takes an extra second, gives a fake, and puts it around the goalie, gets the opportunity, and she takes it.
Porter, the attacker from Alberta, Canada, junior now. Last year had 4 goals and 12 assists in the 6 games she's played, and now here getting her 2nd goal of the slate. This is the 4th game of her season.
Yeah, and you love to see that. She's smiling, she's having fun, she's, you know, happy to be in there. That's pretty awesome.
18-10, 3:14 to go here. Towson on top. A D twig there on the draw control, though it does go the way of William and Mary. Like Baxter. As these teams trying to get maybe some other players to get a little bit of time and run. The ball sent high over, but it'll reset here in the offensive zone. Like I mentioned, after today, William and Mary will take on JMU in back-to-back games. Once on the 14th, once on the 23rd. That's coming up. A couple midweek games in the CAA this week, and then Towson Drexel. You're gonna want to watch that. That'll be a good battle. Before
it will be a great battle. It'll be a great battle. I'm looking forward to that, and I think these coaches too are looking forward to like a couple midweek games. You know, mix it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the practice is getting a little old.
For sure. For sure.
I mean, you're practicing every single day to play 1 game a week, and they're not necessarily used to that in the CAA. Normally, over the course of the regular season, it's a Friday-Sunday deal. So, obviously, in times of COVID, and they're trying to keep things safe, but at the same time, that's a lot of practice.
That is, and if the coaches are feeling that, you can only imagine what the players are feeling like.
It grinds on you a bit.
Yes, it does.
So move it around, getting inside, hand up, it doesn't matter. That's Perry again. What a day she's had. The career high keeps on growing. 7 goals.
This ball just continues to move and finds itself in her stick, and she finishes when she gets that opportunity. Just shoots so hard with every bit of her body, and I can appreciate that.
You know, and when we talked to Sonia LaMonica, and we talked about the speed they have, and I thought a lot of that would come in transition, but in Perry in particular, when she's inside that critical scoring area, she gets from point A to point B very quickly. She can turn that corner.
Yeah, and she goes just so hard.
Yeah.
Like you can feel her, you know, using her body, and just every bit of what she has inside of her is going into whatever she's doing. It's really unique and something that you can't teach. And it's also, I can appreciate it because it's hard, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Lila Doran this time getting some time and working herself in the clear game and into the offensive zone. Liucci into the middle with the left hand. That's a goal. So Nicole Liucci on the board. Both of them have scored today. Carrie and Nicole. Her 6th goal here in 2021.
Yeah, and you can see this was a little bit of a transition too. I mean, they're coming out of that fast break mentality, but it's go. And Towson needs to carry this into their next game because they didn't have this necessarily early on, but when they do it correctly, and they capitalize.
So in the first half, Carrie Liucci scored, and we noted her swagger, Kelly.
Yep.
And Nicole, it's literally, I mean, she's a twin. It's almost the same exact feel, right?
It's like they do, you know? They want to toss it and swing their hips. I'm for it. Go ahead.
It's fantastic. I'd love to get a side-by-side of that at some point.
Exactly. That's great.
Can you spot the difference?
Probably not, right?
It's a 20-10 game, so that's why the clock is turned on. The final few seconds about to tick off here, and nice performance, especially in the second half for Towson, Kelly.
Yeah, you know, they weren't going to give up. They definitely weren't. But it's almost like they sharpened up a little bit. And when they did that, they were able to really put goals away and then also stop some things that they weren't doing maybe in the first half as well.
And William and Mary, a little better performance than against Elon last week. They'll have some things to work on, but they'll quicker of a turnaround against JMU coming up later this week.
Yeah, they'll turn it around with that coaching staff. They're in good hands, and they'll learn from this. They'll take good and bad from it, and they'll keep moving.
So 20-10, the final out here in Tiger Field today. Career high days for Blair Perry and Nikki Sliwak. Perry, the 7 goals, Sliwak 5 goals and an assist. And we have to mention the dominance in the draw control circle. 10 for Lindsay Marshall, the freshman. What a day she had in there, along with her teammates, her cohorts as well, as they won the 24 of the 32 draw controls, as Towson really dominated possession. And then you saw on the other end for William and Mary Bell Matiri. She ended up bouncing back with 5 goals on the day. Just wasn't enough for the Tribe to overtake a strong, strong Towson Tigers team. Well, that'll do it for our coverage out here in Towson, Maryland at Tiger Field. For Kelly Berger and Thomas McNeely, I am Tom Eschen. Thank you so much for joining us for our CAA Game of the Week. Tigers coming out on top. We'll see everybody next time.